There is one further issue dealing with liability of Magna, and that is an unusual one, which could be liability of the board of directors to shareholders. The board has an obligation to act in the best interests of the corporation, and there could be a possible claim against the directors for the failure to abide by that duty. For example, if the directors were aware that there had been complaints made of this nature against Mr. Stronach or any other person, and took no steps to implement procedures to ensure safety in the workplace, particularly given the recent changes under the Ontario Occupational Health and Safety Act. Now, that wouldn't apply in the past to past transgressions, but it's an indication of the statutory obligation today and perhaps the duty of the directors in the past. But certainly if they're aware that things were amiss and did nothing, there could be liability on the directors to the shareholders. Now, you may say, well, if for example, there's 4 or 5 civil cases for damages brought by disgruntled employees who claim they were sexually harassed, that's likely not going to have a material impact on the trading value of Magna stock, and that's probably right. However, let's suppose a major buyer of Magna auto parts, like General Motors or some other major company, says, I don't want to deal with a company that can't control its executives and cannot ensure its employees a safe workplace. These companies that sell cars, they sell these cars to consumers. And they may well be concerned about the image that Magna has and decline to do business with it. And because of these allegations, that would be a huge claim to be brought by the shareholders against the board of directors. Also, under Ontario law, if the company is convicted of a human rights violation, the Ontario government has the right to cancel any contract with that company with impunity. Now, I don't know that Magna has any contracts with the Ontario government, but just from a general principled view, if a company does have such a large financial dependence on the Ontario government, it's taking a huge risk by incurring any kind of potential human rights violation. I know of one case in which a company was entirely dependent on government for its income. That's the only customer it had. And given a human rights complaint, it was terrified that a conviction could end its business altogether. It's very unlikely, and to my knowledge, it's never happened. But the law is there, and it could happen. So all these things are important. And the board has to be very careful that it ensures a safe workplace for the employees, particularly given the new legislation in Ontario. So be smart and beware.